As I said to you before, we are the combined domestic violence committees of southwestern Sydney, which is a region that extends from Bankstown to the Southern Highlands and includes the committees of Bankstown, Fairfield, Liverpool, Campbelltown, Camden, Wallandilly and Invercarrabee. So that's who has invited us all to be here and who has helped put this event on. The combined committee was formed some 12 months ago as a means of increasing support and strengthening domestic violence service networks and to identify those projects that created a cross-regional opportunity to work in collaboration. And one of the issues that was identified was the emerging question that has brought us here today. A question that has been increasingly asked in the context of committee meetings, domestic violence training sessions for generalist workers, and community education initiatives. A discourse that frames its arguments in terms of, what about men? Aren't men equally victims of domestic violence? Aren't women equally abusive? Don't women batter too? We wanted to approach this issue in the context of a hypothetical because this was the most effective way of unravelling the key issues contained within this discourse. We wanted to unpack the research, gain an understanding of research methodology, enlisted to explore women's and men's experiences of intimate partner abuse. We wanted to engage with women and men in the field of research and specialist service provision, our illustrious panel, who have expertise in grappling with and nutting out these questions further and to provide a unique training and education experience for workers in the field. We were greatly encouraged when workers across the southwest Sydney area registered because it confirmed our earlier discussions that workers wanted to know more about this issue. We were surprised when we began taking registrations and inquiries from out-of-area workers from north, south and west of Sydney. And we were amazed when we began receiving registrations and inquiries from Queensland, Western Australia, Victoria, South Australia and Tasmania. We're filming the proceedings today to provide interstate, rural and remote workers the opportunity to also participate in this unique event. We recognise that what we are doing in exploring this question within a hypothetical context is an important step in opening up a debate we've had to have. The organising committee would like to thank Jane Mulroney in accepting to facilitate this important event. We thank our panel members, some of whom have travelled from interstate to share with us their expertise. And we've tried to include as many voices and aspects of the discourse as we could so you can get the most out of this experience. I'd also like to thank the organising committee members, the DV committees of Liverpool, Fairfield and Bankstown, who have contributed financially to cover the costs of this event. And this has been an unfunded event, and it's important that you know that the contribution you've paid today will assist us in meeting our financial commitments. It is our hope that each of us leaves today with a better understanding of all the aspects involved in the question, are men equally victims of domestic violence? I'd now like to introduce and hand over to Jane Mulroney.
Okay, welcome and thank you for coming to the Hypothetical today. Organisers, as Betty said, have been particularly overwhelmed by the number of people that were interested in coming to the event today, and the numbers here represent, I think, the fact that this issue is an issue of public interest and an issue that we would all like to hear more about and be more informed about. It certainly tells us something about the fact that I think these issues challenge the work that we undertake in responding to and preventing domestic and family violence. And I'm hoping that you will be stimulated by the panellists today and walk away with a whole range of ideas, if you like, that you will feel more informed about the debate. There will be some clarification of some of the issues. Mostly I'm hoping that you walk away feeling like this has been a beginning. This has been the beginning of an opportunity to start talking about these issues. Whilst we know that men as victims in statistical terms, has been in the minority, if you like, I think nonetheless it is an important issue to talk about. It is also important to talk about the way in which men and women's violence is contextualised, and that is part of what I'm hoping the panellists will speak about today. It isn't intended that this panel discussion be an opportunity for interesting and informed discussion and debate about these issues, and that it's a useful starting point for productive discussions to occur in the future. What strikes me is that it should not be a competition about who is more victimised than the other. That sometimes the debate around these sorts of issues polarises us into particular camps, if you like. And I'm hoping this afternoon that there's an opportunity for people to express their specific opinions and different perspectives, but that it's not pitched as a competition between men who are victims of domestic violence and women who are victims of domestic violence. Okay, before I go further, I want to introduce the panellists. I also want to talk to you about the process this afternoon and a bit of a time frame, if you like, for how we're running.